Earlier this year, the Bermuda government enacted the Exempted Undertakings Tax Protection Amendment Act 2011, which extended the duration for which the Minister of Finance may grant a tax assurance to exempted undertakings. Prior to the amending act, the Minister of Finance could grant such an assurance up to 28 March 2016. This period has been extended to 31 March 2035. These assurances have been vital in the attraction and retention of international business in Bermuda by reassuring international businesses that their corporate structures will not be subjected to the imposition of tax under Bermuda law computed on profits or income or computed on any capital asset, gain or appreciation. A central component of Bermuda's attractiveness for international business is its zero rate of taxation on income, profits and capital gain. The extension of the tax assurance is particularly important for companies seeking to raise funds in the capital markets either through the issuance of new equity or debt securities with a maturity later than 2016. For these companies and their investors, the extension of the tax assurance period will provide welcome certainty and will eliminate what otherwise may have been a risk factor for them. The Bermuda government has, by the enactment of this legislation, given a clear indication to the international business community that it is committed to maintaining Bermuda's position as the leading international financial center.
In 2001, Bermuda introduced term limits for the first time with regard to its work permit policy. Over the last 10 years, the work permit policy has worked reasonably well, but has now become probably too restrictive for international business. And international business feel that better advantages are available to companies overseas. In July of this year, Premier Paula Cox announced in the House of Assembly that there would be amendments to the Bermuda Immigration and Protection Act 1956. Those amendments, and the amendments to the policy as well, will introduce a new form of work permit. Work permit term limits will still exist. What's been possible up until now is that work permit holders, and more likely the employer, would apply for exemptions or extensions from term limits. The extensions would enable a further 3 years to be added to the 6-year term, and exemptions would create a waiver for the work permit holder. The amendments which have been announced by Madam Premier would seek to create a new position for those employers and international business wanting to come to Bermuda so that they could apply for a 10-year work permit, and for their business owners and for the chief executive officers an opportunity to gain permanent resident status. This is a massive move for Bermuda, and one which hopefully shows that Bermuda is indeed welcoming and open for business.
There have been hundreds of articles discussing the UK's new Bribery Act, but none so far have dealt with the offshore implications and the implications in particular for Bermuda. The Act really means two things for Bermuda. All Bermudians have what is called a close connection with the UK. What does this mean? Well, even if you have never set foot in the UK, you are now subject to the jurisdiction of the UK criminal courts. So if you pay or receive a bribe anywhere in the world, you can now be prosecuted and convicted in the UK. It is potentially even worse for companies. All overseas companies with business dealings with the UK can now be prosecuted if they fail to prevent bribery from taking place within the organisation. Such a conviction opens them up to potentially unlimited fines. In summary, in relation to bribery offences, the reach of the UK criminal courts now extends to these islands. The article provides some ideas and some guidance on how companies can mitigate these new risks in this brave new world.
One of Bermuda's great successes in recent years has been its ship register. It has expanded steadily, and today we have a fleet of over 160 merchant ships and more than 250 yachts. The registry has concentrated on building a fleet of high-quality ships and has succeeded well at it. This success was reflected in May 2011, when a European Port State Control Organization confirmed Bermuda's shipping register had the best 3-year safety record of those listed. That safety record and the low age profile of the fleet bodes well for our future. Bermuda provides a sound mix, a strong and stable legal jurisdiction based on English maritime law, reasonable costs, efficient service and communications, and the reputations of Bermuda as a high-quality flag and the Red Ensign as a quality brand. Brand awareness of the registry puts Bermuda on the map. Around the world, thousands of people see well-maintained ships flying the Bermuda flag. There is a clear association between high standards, high quality, international competence, and wealth that strongly supports the Bermuda brand.
Bermuda right now exports somewhere between $37 and $40 billion in two-way trade, imports and exports into the United States. Provides $37 billion worth of investment into the United States that creates 301,000 jobs. That means that Bermuda is the 8th most important investor in the United States and is the largest export market for the United States in insurance and reinsurance, and more importantly is also the very large market for business services. So essentially the story is that Bermuda is in the top 10 economies that have an economic impact on the United States and is more significant than many other offshore jurisdictions. In fact, in the last 3 years, Bermuda's importance to the United States has increased and is higher now than either Ireland, the Netherlands, the Caymans, British Virgin Islands, or Switzerland. Bermuda, therefore, is a country whose relationship with the United States stands equal to Germany, the UK, Canada, and many other large European countries, as well as Japan. So Bermuda, it certainly remains an offshore jurisdiction. It certainly remains an important competitor, not only in the United States, but Canada and in the UK. But in the last 3 years, probably because of the recession, Bermuda companies have decided to tighten their competitive edge in insurance, reinsurance, and investment funds in the United States by investing directly there. And so Bermuda financial companies now are producing a substantial amount of jobs on the East Coast because of their multinational operations.